Right, good afternoon everyone. My name is Sergio Camargo. I'm a 8th level English student and this is the video for the last delivery for my class project. We're going to talk about online education. The main sentence is if a person can take an outstanding education using online learning. I had to decide if I agreed or if I didn't agree. I do completely agree, so I'm going to give some facts that supports my ideas. So here we are and let's begin. I hope you guys enjoy it. A person can get a outstanding education, of course, using online learning because I made two sentences which I'm going to develop ahead with some facts. The first one is education mainly depends on the will and concern of the person who is taking that education. What does it mean? If you're studying something you don't like, if you are doing something you don't love doing, of course you won't work well. I mean, you won't perform well on that study or on that work or whatever you are doing. So it doesn't matter if you are on presence, on online education. We're going to see some advantages, some disadvantages about online education, about presence education. But if you don't love what you are doing, you will never perform well. So this is the first thing. You gotta do what you are loving. So mainly depends, education mainly depends on the will and concern of the people who is taking that education. And the second one is there are so many factors that makes life easier for those who take online education. Why? We're going to see ahead why. So here it goes with my first hypothesis. Online education gives people advantages such as flexibility on times, networking opportunities, and increased student professor time. Why flexibility on times? What do I mean with that? If you are at home, you don't have to move to university, you don't have to take, public transport, you don't have to take your car. You save a lot of time on transport. So this is the first thing that it's better when you are, which is an advantage when you are online education. You can save your time, you can have lunch at home, you can do a lot of things while being at home, although you got a timetable which you did before or which was set by the university, you got much more time if you're at home because you don't have to move like everywhere. The second one is networking opportunities. Online education on universities was taking little steps, baby steps to the future. It was going to be something that was going to happen. But with this pandemic, with COVID-19, it accelerate almost everything. Almost 100% of universities in the world used online education while pandemic. Now they are going back, as we know. Europe, for example, they got new growth of COVID-19, so they are going back to online education. What does give online education? Network opportunities. Why? If you're at a classroom, you just have the people, your classmates to talk. If you are online education, you can talk with people all around the world. You can use a lot of tools to talk with people around the world. You can make some different contacts. Use social media, such as LinkedIn Learning, LinkedIn itself, Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp. Use a lot of tools that there are now in order to do networking opportunities. And the third one is increased student professor time. As I said before, if you are at a big classroom, of course the professor have to be paying attention to everyone. But if you are online education, you can ask teacher, can you stay a while or 5 minutes after the class? I got a question. It makes more personalized education. So it makes it much better. My second hypothesis was a self-motivated and self-disciplined student will perform much better on its studies. But why? Because that student will have freedom of time and space, lower fixed cost, which means lower courses price, and different environments. What do I mean with freedom of time and space? As I said before, if you are at home and you are free to choose much more your time, you don't have to call right. How long does it takes me to go from my house to university? 2 hours, maybe 1 hour and a half. So now you got that 2 hours or that hour and a half to do something you like or to study better. So you don't waste too much time on that. And on space, you can, you can choose whichever space you want at your home in order to study. If you're at a classroom, you're just meant to be at the classroom at your desktop and looking at the table. So that's it. But the dashboard, sorry. But with online education, you can be everywhere studying, everywhere. Even you can be at the beach studying. So it's gonna be really, really cool. Lower fixed costs means lower courses prices. Of course, universities have saved a lot of money on lower fixed costs, so, such as security, parkings, cleaning, some professors. So this means lower courses price. If you can pay less for a course studying at home than paying much more for the same course being at prisons, I mean, it's much better to stay at home, at least for me. And different environments. What do I mean with different environments? If you're tired of being working at your place, you can go, I don't know, somewhere else. You can go to a coffee, to a restaurant, to a house friend, to the beach if you live in a place where there is beach. I don't know, you can go everywhere as long as you got like internet, as long as you have your PC, you can be connected everywhere. So this is a very important thing that of course increase motivation on the students and makes them perform much better on their studies. But as everything in life, there are some disadvantages. I can't say that online education is perfect, although for me it's much better. I found on my research two disadvantages. The first one was motivation and distraction. Why motivation? You don't have your professor like over you telling you, come on, I'm pushing up, you can do it, or your classmates telling you can do it, you're alone at your place, so you see if you are motivated or not. That's something like a job for a work for the professors to motivate their students, but motivation mainly depends on ourselves. So motivation can be a very difficult thing if you are working at home alone, because you don't have like some other people trying to help you and pushing you to be better. And of course, distraction. I think that's one of the most common. We all have distractions, even on classrooms, real classroom. We are all times on the cell phone. I know that can be a little bit rude, but that's something that we got like on our brains. And if you are at home, it's much more worse. Like you got video games, you got your PC, you got Netflix, you got movies, you got a lot of distractions. But that, as I said before, if you love what you are doing, then it's going to be easier to leave those distractions aside and do things better. And